the biggest ball influencer you've ever seen, followed by the 100 men versus 1 gorilla when Mrs. P debates me on it all. This week on
Too many tabs. Remember to smile.
I found this guy, and the only way I can describe him is he's a testicle influencer.
He's a what?
A testicle influencer.
A BALLfluencer?
Yes, exactly. So this guy, do you want me to say his name?
Yeah, say his name. Fuck
Okay,
him.
his name is Christian Van Camp.
Wait, shut up. Shut up. His name is what?
Christian Van Camp.
That sounds fake.
He goes by CVC Wellness. Yeah. And okay, I'm going to read you his bio. Are you ready?
CVC Wellness sounds like a vitamin store in a strip mall.
Okay, yes.
Okay,
yep.
I want to say that. Christian Van Camp
Mm-hmm.
is okay. Yeah, you know what? Christian Van Camp should be a drag queen's name.
This is a very specific type of drag.
But I just feel like coming out and being like very cunty, right? Coming out and serving a lot, doing a lot of flips like on stuff like conversion camps.
Yep.
Maybe like doing that. Wait, I'm not gay. I can't be a lesbian. I'm a cheerleader. What was that movie called? Was that movie? But I'm a cheerleader.
But I'm a cheerleader. Yeah.
Yeah. Doing that, like having quotes from that running the whole time. That's what a Christian Van Camp should be. Like comes out, is very holy, and then camp.
Yeah.
Right?
No, this is a different type of. So you're right,
You're
but this is a flip in that there are female people that pretend to be male. They're called drag kings.
Yes, I know drag.
So
queens.
like this is a drag king situation, right? Like here's a guy that's trying to be alpha male. Anyway, I'm gonna read you his bio.
Anyway, but real quick, I just want to say that after I described all that, and then it's just someone who's Dutch.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Christian Van Camp, men's lifestyle coach, nature-driven living, jungle health nut Tarzan, energize your virality, community, and creator brand. So what happened was I got fed a reel this guy posted where he talks about his testicles and what he does to keep his testicles healthy. And I don't want to play it for you, but I want to read you something that I saw in his stories because I think his stories are also pretty crazy. Because I think you're gonna like this. Okay,
his Instagram stories.
His Instagram stories.
Yeah.
This is an Instagram story he posted. It says, "Your balls are electric, literally. Polyester kills that charge. Synthetic junk traps heat, builds static, and cooks your hormones without you even knowing. You're supposed to absorb energy from the earth, not suffocate your test in plastic wrap. Real, natural men protect their life force. I switched to the highest quality organic cotton underwear that doubles as shorts, gym wear, and beachwear. Breathable, powerful, built for real vitality. If you haven't made the switch yet, it's not too late. DM me the word gonads, all caps, and upgrade before you downgrade. I'll send the best."
What the fuck?
Yeah. So he's using the word gonads as his sale promo code because he's a testicle influencer.
And he's selling underwear.
In that one.
In that one, he's
In
selling
that
underwear.
one, he's selling underwear.
I love the idea of going through all of this, DMing the guy, and then just finding out it's just Hanes. It's just Cotton Hanes.
It's just Cotton Hanes that he
because
dropships.
But what he's describing though is like he's going through the whole list, right?
Yeah.
And he's like polyester's bad. So I was like, okay, I'm actually shocked that I haven't seen somebody do this yet.
Yeah.
Right? Because one of the things that was brought up a while ago, remember when you'll often hear people point to the Bible and say, you know, in the Bible it says like homosexuality is a sin. And
Yeah.
people will respond, be like, yeah. So is eating shrimp and blended fabric.
Yeah, blended
like
cottons.
Blended fabric in general is like pointed out, and polyester is blended fabric.
Yeah, it's plastic.
You're not supposed to mix them together.
Yeah.
But you can have these cotton blends and all this other different stuff. Like that's actually in the Bible. It's like no.
Yeah.
Sin.
Real
bad.
I know.
And so I'm saying though is like I'm surprised we haven't seen anybody go by down that one and be like, just so you know, I only wear wool and cotton because in the Bible it says that people who wear polyester or what are some other fabrics? Any of these other different ones that you can think of that are like nylons.
Yeah, nylons.
Any of these different ones. These are all sins. These were sent to us by the devil. And instead, this guy's going a different route though. He's like, no. If you're active and you're wearing polyester underwear,
non-breathable, needs to be cotton, made organic. It has to be organic. I'm sure.
I gotta say something.
I'm trying to find the slide I wanted to tell you about.
There's been so many, Mrs. P.
I'm listening.
There's been so many ads targeted at me over the last couple of years about underwear. Yeah. Which is shocking because we haven't had any of these people reach out to us. Not yet. That's when we'll know we hit the next level. But we've had so many people reach out, target me with these ads, and they're all doing the same thing. It's like, oh, you're a male underwear now with a special ball pouch. You need the ball pouch for your big nuts. Yeah. Or with special cooling. You need cooling underwear so your hot big balls don't end up stuck to the side of your leg. What happened to liking? What if you like having your big balls stick to the side of your leg? I gotta tell you something.
Also, baby powder.
Also, but hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you something. Sometimes it's nice in the middle of a hot July day.
No,
wait. I'm not done.
I know.
It's July. You're wearing gym shorts. You're sitting around. What's the matter? What's the matter with having that moment? Be like, you know what? You stand up and you feel the Velcro. Yeah. Feel the Velcro stick tear. Yeah. Crazy.
That's crazy.
Kind of different. Once or twice a year, that's fine.
Okay,
but the fact that there's marketers now that have to sit in a room, and then we have engineers, the engineers getting involved in this. All this. What's the right way to make sure that their balls hang in the correct way? It's like, why are you thinking so much about this?
Well,
this feels like one of those things where we have created a solution and now we need to find a problem.
Okay, no. So here's what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. Okay. This guy who I found
algorithm found.
The algorithm put in my, and then of course I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Tell me everything, internet. This guy's selling stuff. Yeah. Obviously. And so that was just one story that he shared about his gonads. That was his promo code.
His promo code gonad. Which I love guys this stupid because part of me is like, does he know gonads is a name for testicles, or is it like go nads, like 2 words? Like,
no.
Yeah, let's go nads.
Because I want to read you some of the other things he's posted. Bigger balls, fatter loads. Whoa. That's my goal.
Whoa.
What? We can't say that?
Hold on. No, you can say it.
That's what it says.
I know. I did not expect you to say that. Okay.
That's his goal.
It's fat loads?
Yeah, that's what he says. That's my goal.
But also, your balls shouldn't be over a certain size, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're not supposed to be too big.
I feel like they should. That's medically bad.
Yeah.
Elephantitis of the nuts is crazy.
That's my goal because high output is equal to high virility. Proof your system is running at full power. If your loads are weak, watery, or barely there, it's a serious red flag. Fill the tank with potent power swimmers and achieve peak testicular power. And then there's images of happy balls and sad balls. That's what he posted. And then okay, next slide. It's a slide.
You gotta do a carousel.
Okay. I've naturally increased testicular size by 25% and doubled volume over the years. Bigger, not swollen, balls aren't just for show. They mean higher testosterone and healthier babies. If you want to build powerful, potent body, it starts below the belt, and here's how. Slide. Cold. Freeze them. Cold expands sperm and revives production. Most guys are cooking themselves all day. Tight polyester underwear, constantly sitting. That's why icing for 30 minutes daily is a game changer. It boosts testosterone, increases blood flow, and supercharges output.
Hold on. All right. Jesus Christ.
That's only step 1 of his plan.
Oh, no. If step 1 of your day is taking an ice pack and putting it on your nuts. Also, can I tell you something?
I like that you knew it was an ice pack. He's holding it up in the picture.
Oh, is he?
His ice pack.
Great.
He's looking at you. Problem solver. You knew right away.
Oh, it's so gross. Oh. Listen, I think my thing now is that I was thinking, like, some people don't have ice packs. Yeah. Some people only have ice trays. Mm-hmm. Meaning and this feels like a roommate thing. Yeah. Like, this feels like I want to say that real quick. This feels like a roommate thing. This feels like something that your roommate gets into. You know what I mean? This is not somebody
roommate.
somebody who you're stuck with. This is a roommate. This
You
is
met
a
on Craigslist?
Yeah, this is a coworker thing. This is not a friend or family thing.
Do you want to hear the next step?
No, hold on.
Okay.
I'm stuck on the icing the balls for 30 minutes.
30 minutes daily, baby.
What he's doing is
Mm-hmm.
real fast. The tight polyester and all those different things. There is a thing to this.
Yeah.
Because I had my health teacher all the way back in the 90s and early 2000s would be like, yeah, tight pants. Like, if you really care about these things, like, you want to wear looser clothes. Like,
Yeah.
you want to wear looser clothes, all these different things because of constriction, because of blood flow, because of just flow in general.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Sure.
But he's taking it to such an extreme.
Yeah.
Like an extreme. But then the ice pack, I just keep thinking, though, if you're stuck in a situation where you come home, hard day of work, and you're like, I want a cool drink, and you go to the fridge and pull out the ice tray, and you make yourself a nice glass of ice,
Yeah.
and then you put a soda in it,
Yeah.
and then you go sit down, you drink, and then the next morning, your roommate kicks your door in and goes, did you touch my ball tray? You didn't refill the ball tray after you used it all. And then you're like, you're what? And then that's when you find out.
Uh-huh.
That's when you find out that your roommate has been using just the blue ice tray for his nuts.
Yeah.
And never told you. Or maybe he did when you were drunk and you don't remember it and you thought it was weird and you thought it couldn't have been serious.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say this is because I have lived with multiple roommates who I've seen got into fist fights when one found out the other one was using their beard trimmer to shave their nuts. Where they had borrowed, be like, oh, it's a trimmer, it's fine. I just wanted to trim it up a little bit before a date. And the guy's, I fucking use that on my face.
Well, our sponsor is the ball trimmer, right? No, I'm just kidding.
We haven't gotten that one yet. Manscaped.
I'm just kidding.
The stuff that's targeted to men is so fucking, it's just so dumb. Dude wipes.
Dude, that's just a big wipe.
It's just baby wipes.
That's just baby wipe.
It's
They
just
don't want to
baby
call
wipes.
them baby wipes, though.
They don't want to call them baby
Not
wipes.
flushable, guys. Don't flush those.
They're not flushable.
Bad
They're
for
like,
your septic and
they're
public.
dude wipes. You just put it in a black bag and you added $4.
Do you want to hear the next step for your ball expansion health?
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I don't want to bring a child. I don't want to bring a child into this world.
Yeah.
If I need to ice my balls for 30 minutes a day.
Every single day. Maybe at the top of the day. I think it's while you're drinking your morning coffee. Maybe you're sitting on the
Also, who's
bowl.
shooting a rope being like, weak? That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Weak.
Yeah.
Weak.
I could do better.
They're wiping their tummy off going, oh. It used to be bigger.
Oh. No. Ew.
What?
Okay, ready? Solar charged. That's the title of his next
What?
slide.
Solar charge?
Pair it, as in the freezing, with 5 to 10 minutes of daily sun exposure. Work up to an hour. Or 10 to 15 minutes of red light therapy. The sun stimulates Leydig cells, your natural testosterone factory, increasing size, density, and function. Ancient warriors knew this. Modern men need to catch up. And then there's a picture of an ancient man sunning his balls. You want to take that?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So after you get done icing them, you need to go out into your yard or
Get
on
them
your
real
patio.
cold, then get them kind of hot. That's just fucking. Hold on. Real fast.
Okay.
Why the fuck, if I went outside and my neighbor
Yeah.
was taint up to the sky, I'd move.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about here? What the fuck are we talking about?
Where do you
also,
live?
where do you live? You look out. You walk out onto your apartment building balcony, look down to the common area, and there's your fucking 42-year-old next door neighbor, sunning his balls.
Holding the heels of his feet for a good stretch.
Yeah, just up into the air, doing yoga poses right at your window.
Perfect.
What the fuck are we talking
You
about
gotta
here?
sun it out, babes. I'm trying to tell you what I learned in my deep dive.
This is fucking... No, he's deep diving himself right now.
Yeah.
First thing. But second thing, this is fucking crazy. This has 3,000 likes.
Yeah.
There's 324 comments. What the fuck? Modern men need to... Ancient warriors knew this. You know what ancient warriors also knew? That they just... Sometimes
Not to
people...
fight a gorilla.
But... But also, the ancient warriors also knew, like, they didn't do war all the time.
Yeah.
They did war every now and then.
Yeah, so in between war, you gotta.
But they also knew that people.
It.
But they also knew that people just died sometimes.
Yeah.
And they didn't know why.
Yeah.
People just died sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We have medicine, and we live a life that ancient warriors could only dream of.
Yeah, they're like, you live to 35? That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
How many of your kids survived childbirth? All of them?
What?
Okay. But not okay. But only like 2 made it past 5, right?
Yeah.
You have 1 and it made it past 5?
40?
Wait, you're just having 1? You're just having 1?
Yeah. You're just having
You're just having 1?
Yeah.
Why not 17?
Because the numbers game.
What number wife are you on? Just the first one.
Yeah. She didn't die.
She didn't die?
Wow. That's
she
crazy.
didn't die. Okay. But your village is randomly ransacked like once or twice a generation, and then all of the women are stolen, right?
No.
No?
Oh.
Wow.
Come on, I got to get to tell you what the next step is.
I don't want to know.
Because we froze
So
it.
we froze it?
We sunned
We
it.
sunned it?
Okay, next. Massage and slap therapy.
No!
Yeah. Ready? Your factory needs circulation and movement to work at maximum efficiency. If you're stagnant, your system is weaker than it should be. And here's how to wake it up.
Slapping it will
Wi-
wake it up?
Without
like
oil.
Like it's your face? Without oil, he says.
Without oil. Now, mostly this image is describing massage. The image is describing massage, which actually we would all recommend because it's a good way to check.
For testicular cancer.
Yeah, it's a good way to check.
Yeah. So you're looking for lumps.
Looking for lumps. That's good. But in his videos, he does talk about how he just slaps his balls.
Like
a faster, like lighter, like ta 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 ta. Yeah, that. That's how he wakes him up.
That's how he wakes up his balls?
Yeah, so
That's also how you wake up somebody who fainted after they fought a gorilla.
Cold, sun, slap. Okay? Massage daily to boost testosterone and sperm production. Slap lightly for 1 to 2 minutes to stimulate blood flow and your key. Cold showers with a direct hit for 30 seconds. This shocks the system awake. So back in the cold.
I don't want to be shocking.
Back in the cold.
No, I don't like this shocking stuff. This is insane. This is dumb. What happened to 72 degrees? What happened to just being just why can't you just be one temp?
Tao masters have done this for centuries to increase size and potency. It's the lifting weights for your endocrine system and orbs. I'm not going to elaborate on those because that's nope. Okay, next.
This guy's going to the cum gym.
We're not even done.
We're not even done. Why are there so many?
Okay, so we froze. We sunned.
Wait, I have a question. You don't need to scroll up. He has over 10,000 followers.
I do not know.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you in a minute, but
Okay.
I'm not leaving this because we're not done this yet.
No, keep going. I'm
Next, we got to focus on our diet, okay?
Okay.
Eat for fat loads. That's what he titled this slide.
Okay, yeah. Did he read Cosmo? This feels like this part feels like it was stolen from Cosmopolitan.
Your body builds what you feed it. If your diet is processed, soy-laced junk, don't expect strong production. If you want thicker, denser loads and peak fertility, fuel up with, and then there's pictures of meat on a cutting board and a green juice, raw fats, butter, olive oil, egg yolks, minerals, things I can't pronounce, but also taurine, raw milk, which is critical for sperm formation, he says, pine pollen and honey, no seed oils, no soy, no junk. Stop eating what makes you weak. I got great news about soy, guys. We're about to jump into soy.
I had to look.
Okay.
He has over 200,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
Which means that, as you know, that he's being paid right now for us to look at these slideshows.
Yeah.
Through the
I've
Instagram,
looked at it more than once.
I know, through the Instagram Creator Fund. Because right now the Instagram Creator Fund is not paying for Reels.
No, it only does slideshows.
They are only paying for slideshows because they realized that they were losing the TikTok war. Mm-hmm. And they were like, well, we got to remind people that Instagram is for pictures.
Yeah.
So we wanted people to do more carousels.
So the more people have to sign up for Canva.
Yes.
So they can make these.
But also, more importantly, in his case, what he's doing is what's actually very funny that he's doing is he is going on Twitter. Mm-hmm. He is writing Twitter threads.
Yep.
And that is how he is creating these into slides. Then he's screenshotting the Twitter threads.
Yes.
And then he's re-uploading them
Because he
as
doesn't want to pay
carousels.
for Canva Premium.
Because he doesn't want to pay for Canva Premium.
Okay, so the soy lace stuff is so funny because
we're
we're
going-
about to be deep into the soy, y'all.
Yeah.
But
Because soy boys.
soy boys.
There's been a thing with the men. So he's saying ignore soy? Or?
It said no. You said no seed oils, no soy, no junk.
Yeah.
And then on the front page, he said stop eating a diet with soy laced junk.
Yes. Which is you and I talked about actually last night.
Yeah, we were talking about last night.
Because the tariff war with China
Yeah,
has made such a funny fucking thing.
which is that China said they're not taking our soybeans anymore, and we're a huge provider of soybeans. We have huge farms in the South that grow soybeans specifically for China.
Yeah.
And they're not taking them anymore as part of the tariff war.
Yeah.
Which means there's going to be a rebrand.
Yes.
Which is like Americans need to eat more soy. And so I see that this guy's going to get paid in 6 months to be like, nah, soy's actually really good for
Well,
production.
it's not going to be him. So this guy, I guarantee you right now that he's not going to be paid.
Yeah.
But what they'll do, because we saw this happen with Bud Light.
Yeah.
Remember, all those guys attacked Bud Light, and then suddenly some of the bros, the big name bros, are getting paid by Bud Light. Suddenly Bud Light starts paying for all this Manosphere shit.
Yeah.
They start sponsoring, certain guys and making sure Bud Light is everywhere. And everybody's holding Bud Light on camera. Look at us, we're Bud Light. Everybody loves Bud Light now. That same exact thing. It's going to be got milk is going to be got soy.
It's good, yeah.
It's gonna be-
Edamame for everybody.
Tofu.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about tofu.
I
We're going to
love
talk about all these
tofu.
different things. But I'm saying is that is all going to get a pushback, and you are suddenly going to start seeing, especially across the South, there's going to be a push for soy as they're trying to offload the massive amounts of soybeans and the warehouse soy, because they're not going to throw it out. They're not going to burn it.
No,
They're
I'm
gonna
going to eat it.
I know you're going to eat it.
I love it.
But again, they were selling how many millions of pounds of this stuff
So much.
to China.
So much.
And China, actually, one of the things that happened, the first term was soybeans. I found out recently. 2018, when we had the tariff, we had a small tariff tiff then.
A tiff.
Tariff
Just
battle.
a light fight.
Soybean farmers, America was the #1 soybean seller to China.
Yeah.
Brazil stepped in, was like, yeah, we'll grow soybeans. And China was like, cool. Are you insane? They're like, not as insane. And then before you knew it, it was now we are competing with Brazil for the China market. And now we did it again. And it's like Brazil's just like, I guess we're going to be the soy capital.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh okay.
Brazil's got two cool things. Number 1, soybeans. Number 2, butts.
Number 3, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is the baseline of UFC.
No!
So you mean to tell me these UFC BJ boys are gonna
they're
be
gonna
all
be deep
soyed
into
up?
soybeans.
That's what I'm saying. It's just very funny. It's very funny, and I'm gonna watch every single one of these fuckers. Not 6 months from now. It's gonna be. I'll go ahead and put Perlman stamp on it.
Yeah.
Within 1 to 2 years.
Yeah, what's yours?
Soy, they're gonna rebrand it. They're gonna rename it. They're gonna figure out a way. They're gonna hide it in a process.
Yeah, they're
but
gonna
it's
put
gonna
it
be
in some
there.
type of caffeine drink.
Yeah, or you're gonna have a few of them come on.
It's gonna be like a protein bar, but it's made of soy, and they're not gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's like a manly protein bar called the Bear Bar.
No, but it's they're gonna do that, but they're gonna also have guys go on Rogan. They'll have them go on these other different podcasts.
Yeah.
And these other different shows, and be like, actually, the science in soybeans it was out, and now it's back in. They'll have RFK be like, actually, soy is good for you. Unlike the MMR vaccine, soy is actually great. If my ex-wife had eaten soy, I wouldn't have killed her.
Whoa, was that an allegedly button? There we go. Thought so.
My second ex-wife, though. Just so you know, it's my second ex-wife who I cheated on 37 times, and it was found to hung herself in the middle of a barn. I believe it was a barn. And then it was before I was with Cheryl Hines before my second ex-wife was dead. And then I got with Cheryl Hines, and we said you should do the right thing, and then they found her.
Allegedly.
Jesus Christ. I don't know how to go back to what I was talking about from there.
You
but
don't know
there is
how?
another slide.
Oh! Damn it!
See, because, so we did cold, we did food, and now we got to talk about retention and regeneration, which is if you're spilling daily, your body is constantly in depletion mode.
Oh, he's doing
Retention is about holding. It's about building. Holding for 1 to 3 weeks increases volume and overall energy. And then look, he's got a fun graph he made. I don't think that's scientific.
That is not a graph.
It's like a graph of aura colors.
We're going to have Mr. Third.
I'll send you all the images.
Yeah, these are going to have to get thrown up on the screen. I'm sorry. But in this case, yes, there's the semen retention timeline. Mm-hmm. Day 1, the person is gray.
Yeah.
Day 2, the person is red and blue.
Yep.
A little red, little blue. Day 3, completely blue. Day 4, yellow.
Yeah.
Day 5, orange. Day 6, red again.
No explanation as what color means. Anything.
No, there's nothing. And they all look like it's all the heat map from Predator.
Yeah.
That's all this is. It's just it's the Predator heat map view. But real fast, that goes into the no nut. That's no nut.
I don't know what that is.
No nut November?
I don't know what that is.
All right. So there's a thing that happened a long time ago on the internet, which is porn.
Oh.
And it inundated everything. It got everywhere, right? It did get a little bit of everywhere.
Well, because the loads were so big.
Yes. And so it was everywhere. And there are people who have a problem with pornography. And that is a problem. And some people are like, hey, I think I have a problem with porn. I can't stop. And then some people are like, hey, much like with alcohol, with like doing a dry January, some people came up with no nut November.
Okay.
And that was just like, hey, for the month of November, don't jerk off. You jerk off so much. Let's see if you can go a month without jerking off. Okay. Look, there's these monks, allegedly, they don't jerk off at all.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, there's these altar boys around, but that's a different story.
Whoa.
But you have all of these guys, and so they come with this no nut thing. But then some fascists stepped in, and they made it their whole deal, which is, I don't jerk off to porn. I don't watch porn. I don't come at all. Look at me. I'm so much more virile because I haven't been to the wank shack in a while.
Okay.
And so it becomes this thing, and this is part of what he's leaning into. He's coming on this one. He's using this a little bit differently, though. He's saying retention. Yeah. He's saying you're doing it every day, but you're trying to see your test results, right? You're trying to see, are those loads fat? So you can't be not coming all the time. Yeah. So he's probably saying, what, once a week?
But listen, no, he said holding for 1 to 3 weeks. But then he also says sexual kung fu. Circulate the energy instead of wasting it. No porn. Pixels destroy your dopamine and drive. Sleep 8 hours. Testosterone builds at night, so don't rob yourself.
Yeah, he's doing a Jordan Peterson. That's just Jordan Peterson. Look at your phone less. Go to sleep.
Make your bed.
Eat. Jerk off a little less.
All right, I got 2 more. You ready?
No.
This is how men were meant to be. Powerful, fertile, thriving. Ditch the hormone disruptors. Embrace the feral natural life. You staying in the raisin gang? Snag my free guide here and become more viral man at cvcwellness.com. And then the final slide is, want next level production? Try these. And it's castor oil massage, structured water, and also this special gel ointment he's selling, because all of this was to sell this
all
ad.
Of this was an ad. Wait times to see a doctor right now are incredibly long. Unless you're bleeding out, you're going to have a tough time, and you're going to have to tough it out for about 3 months. If you want to easily snag an appointment within 24 to 72 hours of booking, you need to check out ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. You can filter for doctors by specialty, accepted insurance plans, location, or by rating. It's basically like Tinder, but for your health.
Can I step in here real quick?
Yeah.
ZocDoc has made navigating finding a specialist incredibly simple. And as a busy mom, I need every second I can get, and I don't want to waste time on hold. So I can get right onto ZocDoc.com. It's important to be sure you're getting medical care you can trust. Let ZocDoc help.
Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/tabs to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/TABS. ZocDoc.com/tabs. Well, it's a 2-part ad.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's for this cream.
Yeah.
This ointment goo, I don't know. But also for his website, for the guide. And this is what happened. So I got brought in. Remember, I originally got brought in by a reel where this man was talking about sunning his testicles, and I seen them. and how important that was. And I said, I'm sorry, what, sir? I was scrolling about strawberry jam and sourdough breads. That's what my Instagram reels are about. So I don't know how you got here.
Yeah.
But I am listening. And then I started looking through his thing, and I of course went to that, and I was like, what is this? He is a creator, and he owns a program called Vital Camp, where you can learn to be a better creator of a health coach, right? So
he's selling classes. So
yes.
he is selling classes to teach people how to rub different oils on their nuts.
Sort of, kind of. So let me read you from their page. It says, for those passionate about natural wellness, spirituality, and fitness, and who aspire to build an online coaching and content creation business and live financially free and a purposeful human existence, welcome to our Vital Camp community. And then it has teachings about health-centric social media entrepreneurs and coaches, nutrition and fitness philosophy advocates and enthusiasts, purpose-driven networkers and leaders.
Purpose-driven
what
life.
do you get when you join Vital Camp? And you get all these things. And there's okay, so what's the first thing I'm going to get? A comprehensive course library with hundreds of in-depth coursework, vital videos from everything to cover fitness, nutrition, and mindfulness. Number 2, interactive weekly support and 24/7 calls, right, with leadership. Expert-led strategies to help you access seasoned specialists. Also customized tools. And let me just real quick, I think I got the pricing here. Step into a life where you control your health, your money, and your future. Start your journey with Vital Camp and navigate your health hike to success with confidence for under $88 a month.
$88 a month?
To join the upline. Because this is a boy pyramid scheme. This is a testicular-based boy pyramid scheme to sell classes and crunchy male wellness to other crunchy male wellness guys.
And it's $88 because 8 is H for HH, and he's a Nazi. Is he a Nazi too?
I don't know, probably.
It
Oh
feels
wait,
like
I feel
he's
like
a
I did
Nazi.
find some things that were pretty adjacent to that, and I didn't feel like I wanted
Because
to.
88 is such a specific fucking number.
Yeah.
88 is such a specific fucking number, and the things that he is leaning into and the things that he is going on about are very
Yeah.
yeah.
I do believe he's a flat earther, or wait, that might be some other guy. I know he's an anti-masker, obviously. Yeah, I feel like when I was going through it, I found some very questionable belief systems.
His mustache is terrible. I hate his mustache so much.
He's all into raw meat as well. He wants to eat a lot of raw meat. The whole thing is, though, as you go through, is like he lives, allegedly, because I don't know if it's true or if it's just what he's put on social media, is like he has a place in Mexico where he does this retreat, and he's a digital nomad there. And he teaches other content creators how to, number one, be content creators and be digital nomads. And he sells this idea that, like, you need to stop working in the office and go live on the beach and live off the land. And, like, that's not how everything works. Like, not everybody can go live as a digital nomad in Mexico for 3 months.
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
What's funny is I'm scrolling through him right now, and
Yeah.
it's very funny because his reels are not doing well.
Bro, people don't want to watch his balls reels?
All of
I
his
did.
reels only have like 100 or so, but like his slides are doing really well.
Well, that's because they're crazy.
But yeah, he's so off-putting. He's so off-putting.
But yeah, so then I started looking at the crew that engages with him.
So his community and creator brand with Vital Camp. So I think he's also being scammed.
No, he's one of the top of the pyramid of Vital Camp.
Is he?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, gotcha. And the biocultural retreats, that's where he just like rents some place and then has people come down.
Yeah, I think he rents a place in Mexico, and then he has everybody come out there, and he has lots of videos of them. You go there and you make content with other creators about wellness.
But you
and
pay
being
him.
A free
But you
spirit.
pay him to be a free
Yes,
spirit.
and for the classes you take while you're there.
Gotcha.
To be better at making content about wellness. Okay, so we're going to learn how to make these really cool slides probably. and talk about sunning our balls. I don't really know. Should we go?
I don't want to go.
Are you sure?
I don't want to go because this not only sounds terrifying, this also sounds like the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm starting to realize what's happening here as I'm scrolling through.
Yeah.
So this is not great, which is so as I'm scrolling through and seeing he's doing a lot of collab posts. And I think that some of these people are his students.
Yeah.
I can't tell. But so he's like, oh, collab with me. And then thinking like, oh, then you'll get seen by my 200,000 followers.
Yeah.
But then they're still only getting 100 likes. And it's just like, it feels so bad.
It's a pyramid scheme for boys.
It is. It is a pyramid scheme for boys, but also I think, and for girls too.
Yeah.
It's really both. He's really, really, really targeting the men because of how much he's caring so much about masculinity and testicular stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same exact time, he is also clearly pulling in women because there's also stuff in there about the sacred womb and I just scroll through real fast.
The sacred feminine.
Yeah, all this different stuff. But one of his big things are men are becoming too feminine, women are becoming too masculine. Yeah. And this is the break with nature and being feral. And it's so funny. It's just so funny because this sucks so much.
What?
It just sucks so much. I first heard about the sunning your balls thing because of Tucker Carlson.
Shut up. Really?
Yeah. So a few years ago, before Tucker got fired from Fox Nation.
The bow tie guy.
Yeah, the bow tie Tucker Carlson, when he was still on Fox, Fox has a streaming service called Fox Nation.
Okay.
And they have been desperate. It was like their answer to Netflix. It was their HBO Max. It's how do we get old people to pay us $10 a month or whatever it is. Yeah. And then they get exclusive content.
Sure.
And like all the content over there was dog shit.
Not cool like our exclusive content at ProMania500.net.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it again. Cut that promo again. Let's do a collab post right now. All right? You want garbage content? Go over to Fox Nation. But you want good content? You go to ProMania500.net. You sign up for the $10 Upline Ambassador. What does that get you? Everything you can get in the $5 Team Lead. Or if you're a cop and a Fed, then you got to sign up at the $30 Fed tier.
That's for cops and feds only. And you got to tell us you're a cop.
And what do you get when you join our Patreon? You get a shout out on our Patreon exclusive podcast, The Warm Up. And what do we do in the warm up? We get ready to do this podcast. But there's also other exclusive podcasts. Like once a month we do Vibing with the Food Idiot. Vibing with the Food Idiot is where Mrs. Promania teaches me how to eat healthy. And by eat healthy, I mean very basic food staples. How she cooks and prepares them.
One time I taught him how to make mashed potatoes.
That's right. And it was confusing for me because she puts ranch powder in there. Because ranch powder makes you healthy. Because what is health but just being happy? That's how you do a promo.
I apologize for not putting my whole ball sack into it.
Yeah, get that whole pussy into it. Get both testes. Sunned and iced. It's a song of ice and fire. And it comes to completion.
No.
George R.R. Martin, you liar. Anyway, listen. What I'm saying to you is News Nation.
News Nation.
No, Fox Nation.
Fox Nation.
News Nation is where Chris Cuomo went. Fox Nation, they had this whole open streaming service.
Okay.
And they were like, we're desperate for content. And they let Tucker Carlson just go crazy.
Love that for them.
And they let
what could go wrong?
They let him and his producers, because that's the one thing that people always forget is like, yes, Tucker Carlson is crazy, but Tucker Carlson also attracts other people who are more crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a pyramid scheme that gets crazier as you go down.
Yeah.
And so Tucker was brought into the hyper masculine crunchy guys like this.
Yeah.
And they were looking at like, how do we, post COVID, how do we bring in all of the RFK Maha nuts?
Yeah.
How do we get these Make America Healthy Again people before they had the term Make America Healthy? How do we get the anti-vaxxers?
The raw milkers.
And the weird Southern California people who aren't Democrats. They're definitely not Democrats.
Yeah.
But they aren't Republicans right now. How do we get them in?
Yeah.
And part of it was we bring in these guys and we do it through the eye of masculinity. And so what they did is they had this whole segment, and I'll never forget. There's somewhere out there is the trailer for it, and it's just all of these guys literally knees up, knees to their chest, laying down, sunning their balls, and then another guy be like, well, if you don't have a place to do that where it's like, safe to do it, we have a UV light And it was like guys figured out
Oh.
like how they could market. It's like we figured out how to drop ship these UV lights from China, and then you can aim them
Incredible.
at your nuts, and
Like
that's how
when
you.
the UV lights that when you live in like in Russia and you need like to have a UV light
when you're in
once a
Alaska.
day.
Yeah. When you're in Alaska, and there is no like you need the
you
light
have to
box.
sit in front of the light box a couple hours
it was
a
a
day.
light box for your nuts.
Oh, incredible.
And then, but all of it too was starting to get tied into. There's problems with our balls, and that's the reason why we're having less babies, and it pulls into the Elon
it's
Musk
in the
idea
water.
of the pronatalism shit.
Yeah.
All of this starts to come in, and so there's all of these things. You could see it early on of all. It's this mush of like we have over here of like there's the anti-vaxxers are like, well, there's something happening. There's something happening to our kids. Why they're being autistic and non-binary, and you're like, that's just fucking who people
it
are.
just happens.
And then over here, there's something about hypermasculinity. They're making us woke. And then over here, there's something else. And all of it, how it starts to come together into this big tent.
Yeah.
And now they have a fatter load. Sorry.
No.
But what an episode.
The
this has been.
manosphere is really weird.
It's really weird. No, I think the thing there's been so much confusion over the last bunches of years. I think post 2020, there's a lot of confusion looking around because none of our lines for our generation, none of the lines make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like this guy should not be into the masculine. He should. This is the type of guy. He has the aesthetics of selling you that he's actually into Mother Earth, that he's into the feminine. And instead, he has long hair. He likes surfing. He likes being at the beach and nature and all of this different, like the aesthetics of nature. Having the hemp.
Yeah.
Used to be, oh no, I'm safe, man. I love women and women are great and all this different stuff. And like, oh no, don't harsh my mellow and be chill and peace and all this different bullshit.
Hippies.
And instead now he's like, no, the masculine warrior, and you got to be back at the center of the medieval, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ancient times, and like all this stuff like is coming in, and so it's like he wants to. He really likes a puka shell necklace.
Yeah.
It's a guy who like. The vaccine didn't make him like puka shells.
No, he liked them.
He's always just liked the puka shell.
Since day one.
He likes not wearing a shirt. He likes tanning. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
But to pay for that.
Yeah.
And the things that have slowly infiltrated into his space have become we also need to hate people who are different.
Yeah.
We also need to be afraid of all these different things. And so for him to pay for that lifestyle, these other things have come in and have offered him money and have offered him an outlet.
Yeah.
And he can see that on that side. But there's been a shift that we've had now. Because like I look at the anti-Trump forces, right? And if you look around and you can see the fights in the right and the left of like what the left is and what the coalitions are. Because there's a right and there's a left in this country, but there's also a Democrat and a Republican Party. And who's left in each coalition is now confusing each other because you have people that are in the MAGA coalition who will tell you that they're not on the right.
Yeah.
And you have people that are in the Democratic coalition, the anti-Trump coalition, that will tell you that they are not a hippie. They are not on the left. They are not a socialist. They're not a communist. And so like there's moments where I see people like Bill Kristol, who famously is a very big conservative, who was very pro the Iraq War and very pro George W. Bush. Him coming for him and tweeting maybe the left was right that ICE should be abolished. Like, that's a moment where you're like, well, no, I still hate you, dude. Like I know people who died because of your actions and the things you supported, but now you're allegedly, we're on like the same side of this ideological fight because we're on both sides. One side of the room, there is a giant orange-backed gorilla. And on the other side, there are 100 people. I don't want to say men because not everybody on our side identifies as men anymore. So it's like you're just like, so it's a mix. And so like trying to find that has been very weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
Finding mental health care can feel like an uphill battle. Having to deal with crazy wait times and sky-high costs while being left on hold on top of everything else can be stressful. Rula can help. Rula connects you with in-network licensed therapists that accept most major insurance. Users typically just have a copay of $15 per session, and getting the care you need doesn't have to be a total pipe dream.
Rula works with major insurance companies and has options for psychiatric providers that can prescribe medication.
You can even get an appointment to see a therapist in as little as 24 hours. Ruler partners with over 15,000 licensed providers across more than 100 specialties, so you're sure to find someone that works for you. Start your mental wellness journey today. Visit rula.com/tabs. That's RULA.com/tabs for convenient insurance-covered therapy that fits your life. So there's a debate that's across the entire internet right now. It's holding up a lot of philosophical space.
Okay.
People could be discussing all sorts of different stuff. They could be discussing the tariffs, right?
Sure.
They could be discussing how we're kidnapping people off the street.
Sure.
They could be discussing like how the destruction of the health system.
Mm-hmm,
They could be discussing all these different things.
Yeah,
But instead they're
important
discussing this one thing.
What is it?
It's a difficult debate.
All right.
And I think that it's really racking a lot of people's brains.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I just don't know. Okay, I'm going to say it.
Go ahead.
Who would win in a fight?
All right.
100 men. 100 average American men.
All right.
Or one gorilla?
Immediately gorilla? Why is this a question?
It's 100 men versus one gorilla. Who would win?
Okay, this is boy stuff, is what I'm hearing. This is boy stuff.
It's not. I mean, it's mostly men are having
Yeah.
this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly men having the conversation.
Women don't have this conversation.
What do you mean?
Okay, number
You
one.
don't like, oh, who would win a fight? My dad or Hulk Hogan?
No, never once.
Why?
We're very busy.
Busy doing what?
Avoiding 100 men. What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Why would I ever sit with my girlfriends
Yeah.
and be like, who do you think would win in a fight, 100 women or a gorilla? The answer is, we need to get this gorilla into a place where it's safe. Why is it in the school gymnasium? Why did 100 men go to the zoo and pay a $30 ticket fee to harass a gorilla? Get them out of here. What is happening? What are you talking about? When did this come to fruition, this concept?
Well, I mean, the question's been out there for a while, actually.
Okay.
We looked it up. It was 4 years ago somebody posed this question.
Okay, we
out
still
there.
don't have an answer 4 years later.
4 years, well, it's because this is a discussion. We're never going to have an answer unless Mr. Beast does what we all expect him to do.
So-
Hold on.
Okay.
Mr. Beast. With your dead shark eyes. Jimmy, get the helicopter.
Okay.
Go use your scoop.
Don't do this.
Use your poor people scoop
This
that
a-
you use to grab poor people.
This is a bad idea.
And grab a gorilla.
No.
Pluck the gorilla from obscurity.
Leave them alone.
Drop it inside of an arena.
The gorilla did nothing wrong.
Then get 100 men
No.
that you reach out to by saying, I have $500,000 for whoever can subdue a gorilla.
This
And
is
I guess
not
because
good.
you can't kill a gorilla on YouTube.
I don't think
Because
so.
this is to the death, by the way.
No, why? Why are we trying to kill a gorilla?
It's who would win in a fight, and the fight is to the death. The fight is always to the death. The
But
fight is never.
why is
when,
this
when,
a
is a,
thing?
when can a gorilla tap? Can a gorilla tap out?
No.
Can a
'cause
gorilla say,
the
I
100
quit?
men are not going to win? Why do you think they would win? If they were going to
Because
win,
there's 100
they
of
would
them.
have won by now.
There's 100 of them.
Yeah.
Okay?
None of them are
and
making
a gorilla
it.
only has a finite amount of energy.
More energy than 100 random dudes.
Not more energy than all 100 of them combined is the argument. I'm not saying that this is good. I'm just saying that this exists.
I'm
and
saying
that this is a conversation.
that this is insane, and that, okay, this speaks to so many levels of, okay, I don't want to go on a rant, but the male ego. Why do men just assume they would win? Why would you assume you would win against
This
a
isn't-
gorilla?
No, this isn't a man assuming that a man would win against a gorilla.
They're assuming 100 would.
100.
But we know.
100. Oh,
I know
unarmed.
that you know.
Okay.
I know that you know
Uh-huh.
that some of those men wouldn't survive. The
Yeah.
first couple that go at that gorilla,
There-
done.
No one is arguing that the first wave of anywhere between 5 to 17 men aren't being murdered.
Yeah, but
that still leaves-
inherently
that
you
still
believe
leaves
inherently
70 plus
you
men.
believe that you're gonna be the survivor.
I never said I was a part of the 100 men.
No,
That's the
but
part.
I'm saying is that if there's an argument about 100 men versus a gorilla, there's this thing in the male mind that's like, oh, 90 guys are gonna die, but I'm gonna be of the 10 that survive. You're not. You're all getting out. You're not making it. Number one, what is the Achilles heel of the gorilla? What takes the gorilla out? Do we know?
I would.
How are we planning this?
I would assume 100 men
Okay.
attempting to punch a gorilla in the head till it's dead.
They're not going to do that. 100 regular schmegular guys
Because again, they
that
don't have,
aren't UFC fighters
But real quick,
are going to get winded 4 punches in. They haven't been to a kickboxing class.
and the thing is they are all unarmed. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that it's supposed to be even. But it was like 8. I think it was 8 men took down woolly mammoths. What back in the day?
And what did they use?
They used spears.
That's right.
Okay.
They're unarmed.
But they also have the
out of shape.
But they have the one weapon a gorilla doesn't have.
What's that?
Communication.
Do men communicate well? Is that something they're known for? Are men known well for communicating?
They can during war.
Oh,
they
really?
can communicate during war.
Oh, really?
And they're going to war against a gorilla.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
They have tactics. They can tactic. They can say, you 3, go that way. You 3, go that way.
So you think that 100 men can take on a gorilla? These 100 men that can't even take on the dishes. They can't even take on household tasks. That can't find their keys or their shoes are somehow going to find a way to communicate properly with each other. The 100 men who can't, 100 men versus therapy? Never. We can't possibly overcome it. Oh, it's too scary. They're scared of their own emotions, but they're not scared of the gorilla?
I'm telling you, in this case, we have 100 men. I don't know the men's motivations.
Okay. Have you ever met a man?
I have.
What are their motivations?
I'm hungry. I'm sleepy.
And horny.
I'd like a little cum.
That's it. That's the 3 things.
Yeah, I would like to do...
All other things are those 3 things. Money is those 3 things. Housing is those 3 things. So when those are your 3 motivating factors, how are you using them to get the gorilla? If
you don't kill the gorilla, you will never have those 3 things.
Okay.
Done. Motivated.
Sure.
This is a to the death, okay? This is Saw. This is the movie Saw, okay? So what are their motivations? I don't know. Mr. Beast has a series of guys like not the Hunger Games. What was the fucking, what's the Netflix show? The Korean Netflix show? What is it? Squid Games. This is Squid Games, okay?
Squid Games is an allegory about poverty and billionaires weaponizing money against the poor.
Yes.
Also,
and this is an opportunity.
Men as a whole can't even take on 1 billionaire, let alone a gorilla.
But this is the chance.
They can't even boycott Amazon.
Stop.
And you think they can take it.
Stop. This is the moment for the person who is thinking about the fight and having the discussion to picture themselves as the billionaire in this moment. They get to picture themselves as the Mr. Beast. Okay. They get to picture themselves as the guy who runs the PlayStation face guys from Squid Games, okay? Look at me. I've set up this crazy little game. And in this crazy little game, 100 men in gym shorts, and no shirts.
No shirts?
I'm taking it away because the shirts can be used as a weapon.
Oh my God. Okay.
They get the gym shorts on solely so that way the gorilla doesn't see their dick because the gorilla will just start ripping dicks off.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Can I tell you something? I've seen a lot of different things of all the different injuries and how the gorilla would kill people in different ways.
Yeah.
One of the first things the gorilla, if they were all naked, dick rip.
Yeah,
just
sure.
dick rip, and they're done.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, the gorilla had to pick up a 180-pound man and heave him at a wall. No, dick rip.
Yeah.
Dick rip.
They know to just go for the throat. They'll just pull your throat out.
Yeah, that's where
They'll just punch you in the eyes.
You did that?
Yeah, like they'll poke your eyes out. You know what I mean?
They'll punch you in the eyes?
That's what I meant. Bang,
they'll poke you in the eyes. The gorilla, I think the gorilla would just slap until you're dead.
My God, slap you until you're dead. Like
that would be great. But like dick rip. I think, okay. I have a question for you.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So when you were younger, did you not ever, when you were bored?
Yeah.
You never had a conversation of like who would win in a fight?
No.
Like
why would I do that?
Hulk Hogan versus Superman?
No.
Batman versus Spider-Man?
No.
Who would win in a fight? Your dad versus my dad?
No. Do you think that this is what girls talk about?
I don't know what girls talk about.
That's not.
I was not a girl growing up.
There was never, at no point in my childhood experience or my young adult experience was I sitting around in a room full of girls and we started talking about 100 girls trying to beat up a gorilla. That would never, ever be something.
This is an advanced. 100 men versus 1 gorilla is advanced.
It's
I'm going back down to the most basic.
Yeah.
Of who would win in a fight, your dad or my dad.
No.
And like that is one of those things.
Young women are fighting an internal battle against themselves and their mothers that they don't have time to fight theoreticals or even pit theoreticals against each other, because likely there's some. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school. Do you know what I was up against every day?
No.
It was a battle zone all the time just against the girly pops. We didn't have to come up with outsiders to fight. There was an internal battle, an external battle, and that was it.
But see, in this case, it's the men can create an external to fight, so then they can bond.
Okay.
And see, the women, I guess, you guys are just fighting each other? What are you talking about here?
Well, okay. Women, in my experience, young, because you're talking about childhood, like young boys being like, "Oh, if Hulk Hogan beat The Rock, who's gonna win?" I didn't have an experience.
Well, that's not a hypothetical. The Rock won that one.
Oh, okay.
It was WrestleMania 18. It was a really good match. I
That's
hate
not what
both of them. I
hate
hate both of them, but like that was a really, really good match.
So what I'm saying is that young women are fighting a lot of battles daily, and there's no time. It would be a waste of imagination, emotional and spiritual labor to think about more battles and more fights. Like, you're trying to find fun things and light conversations and joy in life. Why would we?
Yeah, but picturing a gorilla smashing a man against a high school gymnasium wall is funny.
You think that's funny?
It's funny because it's not something you picture happening. Like, it's insane that in these settings, right?
Okay.
One of the things that can happen is during these debates is that one of you can be like, hey, where is this set? And they're like, okay, like I picked a high school gymnasium. Yeah. Like that's where I think it would be the most sense. Would just be.
I love that you think it makes sense to somehow get a gorilla, put it in a truck, has wranglers, I'm assuming with ropes and chains, walk it into a high school gymnasium with a marching band and shit.
No, you wouldn't do a marching band. That would you don't want to rattle them.
You don't want to rattle them before you try to beat them up?
Not beat them up. Beat them to death.
Okay.
Okay. This is the part. I didn't make the rules. I'm just saying is that the biggest thing has been they're in some sort of area where there is a boundary, and that boundary typically is a wall. Some people have described it like almost like the Coliseum or like an arena, like that type of like a fight pit. I think fight pit is crazy.
I think also we're immediately learning that maybe people don't understand history and the context of the Coliseum because there weren't a lot of survivors against those lions.
Yeah, but you know what happened in the Coliseum?
What?
They had men fight gorillas and lions and tigers.
And what happened
all
to
sorts
those
of other
men?
stuff. What happened to what men?
Those men. What happened to them?
Well, many of them actually lived because it actually crazy thing about Roman gladiatorial combat, which a lot of people don't understand the context, is it was closer to pro wrestling than everything else. Yes, they did kill a lot of animals. In fact, I think they actually wiped out. They like made a couple go extinct.
They killed a entire type of lion.
Yeah, they made it go extinct.
They made it go extinct
because they loved watching it.
But they didn't do a bare knuckle.
They did not do a bare knuckle. They had weaponry.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why this is different.
Works.
That's why this is different though, because you have no weapons. You have 100 average guys. Yeah. And the thing is average guys going up against like pro athletes is funny, right? Yeah. If I saw Usain Bolt, right? If I saw Usain Bolt running and next to him, it lines up. Yeah. Right? I don't know what those things are called. The track? At the track. What are the things they put their feet in?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what they're called.
You know what they're called? The footrest things. So it's like Usain Bolt gets down. And then he looks to his right.
And Jim from accounting is there.
And then he looks to his left. And there's Marty, the truck driver. Yeah. Like,
no, we've been saying this for a long time.
But we've said that about the Olympics.
About the Olympics would be really entertaining and would bring perspective to it if it had normal people, out of shape people in it.
That's why I've been saying that the Olympics does bring perspective to it. Yeah. Because the Olympics has the fastest man from Slovakia go up against Usain Bolt. Yeah. And Usain Bolt is such a freakish athlete. He's such a god when it comes to his speed. And then when you find some of these people who are the best in literally the entire world, when you have a world that allows you to pick from them and actually has a meritocracy that lets people get up to the top, and we can go, look, this is the best one ever. Yeah. Then that's crazy.
But also there's still this thing where men, these average men having this conversation about 100 men versus a gorilla, inherently believe they're going to win. And it's crazy because like you're saying, Serena Williams is the best tennis player in the world, right? They did a survey and 1 in 8 men think that they could beat Serena Williams at tennis.
I want to tell you something. 1 in 8 men
Yeah.
are fucking stupid.
And how do
But
we know
also-
we're not going to get all
But
those
also,
1 in 8 guys?
but also, I want to hear. I've heard this study before. How many women did they ask?
Women wouldn't answer this question. I bet you it was 100% women said, I'm not going to, I would never beat Serena Williams.
I don't know.
Women are more realistic.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, if you
women are more realistic. Let's go look at the polls from November. We're talking about women. What about white women? What about white women? Want to talk about the polls from this November? All right, because every time I hear this one get brought up all the time.
We can't use white women as the index.
I hear this get brought up all the time. Though, about men believe this, men believe that. In the 100 guys versus 1 gorilla, can I tell you the biggest reason the gorilla would win? Is because everyone knows whoever the first person to approach the gorilla is dead.
Yeah.
That first person is dead.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody who has either ideation or such over insane confidence that they believe that this is going to be the one time it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because every single person knows that charging and trying to punch a gorilla in the face, dick rip off. Like, it's just going to happen. Just dick tear. Like, that's what's going to happen. Okay?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell the gorilla that underneath all the gym shorts is a dick. So he knows to grab it anyway.
You got to tell him in sign language?
Yeah.
You know who wouldn't fight the gorilla?
Who?
Robin Williams.
No, never.
Because there's literally images now going out. Because remember, there's the gorilla that did the sign language.
Yeah, it was sad.
Yeah, it was sad.
Yeah.
But that gorilla, there's like the images of like that gorilla and meeting Robin Williams and then like hugging.
Yeah.
And being like very sweet and loving to each other.
And making them giggle.
Yeah. Dick rip. Like that's.
No.
What? I just had to bring you back.
I just also think that like, if 100 women were in this gymnasium you've set up, and then a group of people brought in a gorilla in chains and said, you got to beat up this gorilla, there'd be questions. It'd be like, why are we doing this? Are we getting brunch after? What did this gorilla do to deserve it? Is there a place we could take this gorilla for safety? It would never happen for women. Because again, we would not assume, we wouldn't be like, oh, the first woman's going to die.
Yeah. And then Mr. Beast says, shoot one.
No,
that's what he would say. The Mr. Beast. Because Mr. Beast is running this.
Yeah.
All right. This is a Mr. Beast Games. He has Bezos Amazon money now.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. He's at the top.
We're eating the chocolate bars in the audience.
He's at the top of the high school ring.
His gluten-free cookies.
This
from
is
Walmart.
one of those rich high school gymnasiums where they have a track at the top.
Oh my God.
You know the ones.
I don't.
Yes, you do. We went to one.
I know. I saw
a long
one
time ago.
once.
You got so mad.
I was so mad.
You were so mad. You're like, this is how they live out here
Not
in the
since
burbs.
field day have I been so mad.
Yes, but so there's a indoor running track along the top, and it's Mr. Beast.
Okay.
This is how men. By the way, this is a man conversation.
I'm having a man conversation.
This is a man conversation right now.
Right. This is a white guy podcast right now.
Listen.
2 guys having a man conversation with microphones.
Yeah, brought to you by therapy. Honestly, it's crazy the fact that this episode. But hold on.
I'm listening.
Let me tell you right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Look me.
I'm looking you in the eye right now.
This is how men pass the time for centuries, millennia even.
They could just go to therapy.
No, therapy is new. You keep saying that. I'm talking about this is the type of conversation that guys have had to pass time while they're waiting for the general to come down to tell them where they're going to die. As they're getting ready, we're on our ditch digging break. Guys in prison when they haven't snuck a phone in to go on TikTok.
They're my favorite guys. I love the prison guys on TikTok.
I know you do.
They're the best.
Especially the ones who dance. If you're in jail and you're doing TikTok dances, you're the scariest man.
There is this one guy.
Hey, wait.
He'll be doing them little TikTok dances, and I'm like, that guy? Everyone's scared of that guy.
Yeah.
But the guy that also makes the little lighters out of everything he finds, I love that guy too.
But also, it's so it's one of those things where this is like we have nothing else.
Okay.
This is how we pass the time. What do you want to talk about? Oh, I want to talk about my wife and family back home. Oh, you're going to make us all forlorn here in the foxhole?
Okay.
100 men versus 1 gorilla.
All right.
Well, the gorilla win. Well, okay. Well, 100 men. That's the other thing, too, is 100 men is crazy.
100 men is crazy.
100 men is, and it's an arbitrary, crazy number to the point where eventually you think the gorilla has to be worn down. The other thing I think a lot of people are thinking of is that like there must be a time meter on this.
Yeah.
Do 100 men have 10 minutes to
I'm picturing it now. Okay, I want to take what you're saying. I'm going to embrace it. Okay,
Embrace it.
I'm embracing it as a newly found white guy with a podcast.
Yes.
Having a conversation like a guy.
Have some big dick energy right now.
I don't want to get ripped off, so don't tell the gorilla.
Listen.
Okay, I'm embracing this idea, and I want to leave the school gymnasium, and I want to plan this as a UFC fight. I want a UFC fight.
So you want the octagon.
I want the octagon.
Okay.
I want 100 normal guys.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Larger octagon, 100
Yeah.
men can't fit inside an octagon.
Okay.
So we're going to make so almost like a gladiator arena pit, but in the middle of a
I want
thing.
Dana White in charge of this.
You want Dana White, who
Yes.
sits on the board of Meta.
Yes, exactly.
Who actually is in charge of what who gets a say on what gets to be posted on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, and here's why.
Dana White, who endorsed President Trump.
Yes.
Dana White, who is part of TKO, which also oversees WWE.
Yep.
That Dana White.
Yes.
You want him
In charge of this.
in charge of promoting, booking.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
We're using the octagon, this new big octagon that Dana White's team is going to pay for
Yeah.
and produce and send out
The quadruple con.
Yeah, sure. I want it to be
4 times the size of a
I
regular
want it to be
octagon.
Royal Rumble style though. They got to climb in.
Who does climb?
The 100 men.
Okay.
One at a time,
Oh.
or they can all come running in down
Okay.
from the rafters or whatever. They're gonna come running in. They gotta climb in, bah, bah, bah.
Okay.
And then once they get in, they have to fight the gorilla, right? They're gonna get thrown out, Royal Rumble style as well. They're out. You know what
They're
I
gonna
mean?
get thrown out? No, they're gonna get killed. It's to the death.
Yes.
You're not changing that part.
Okay.
You can't change that part. It's
Okay.
to the death.
So I think that in this scenario, the big fight, and we get to pick instead of normal guys, we got to pick people that think they're gonna win. We gotta pick the kind of guys that would want to promote this fight on their TikToks, on their Instagram, on their YouTube channels, and that think they're gonna win. I want to make a show. If we're gonna have bread and circuses, let's build a circus.
Okay. Okay.
I want the Paul brothers first and foremost.
Oh, okay. You want Logan and Jake.
Yeah, both of them in there.
And and that way they could cut. They could do
Because
a whole
one's
podcast?
WWE and one's a boxer.
Allegedly.
Look, listen, this is
Okay.
their promo.
Okay.
Their promo.
Yeah.
They're gonna be there. Who else is gonna be there?
We should put the Tate brothers in there too.
Absolutely. Tate brothers are working out all the time.
Yeah.
They're all,
and Andrew Tate's a kickboxer. So
see? Bing bang boom.
yeah. Okay. We'll
He's
get them in there. Okay. Who else would we put in there? Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, he's super strong.
Yeah.
He says all the time he's super strong.
We can put Joe Rogan. I think. Let's start Burt Kreischer in there. I just don't like him. I just don't like him. Put Burt Kreischer in there.
Oh, I don't think Burt Kreischer's gonna make it.
I don't think he's
feel
gonna.
like
No,
gonna get
that's
winded.
why I want him in there.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no.
All right, let's put Burt Kreischer in there. Who else can we put in there?
I don't know. I'm just thinking a lot of manosphere guys. Because again, if you're pitching this to me like you did, is that there's 100 guys that think they can beat this gorilla, then we
Liver King.
Oh, Liver King for sure.
Put Liver King in there. Put Dan
Yeah.
Blazarian in there. Put I'm trying to think of other guys. If we could do it. Oh, Russell Brand. Send Russell Brand in there.
Yeah.
Russell Brand will go in there. He'll probably try to fuck the gorilla.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What?
Bleep that.
I'm not bleeping that. Leave it in.
No, so I think that if we make this a show, again, circuses, we get people that think they're going to win and they're going to give it their all, and then we hope they lose.
Yeah.
And then I want to ask you who's in the audience.
Who's in the audience?
Who's in the
it's going to be like all of the different UFC fights right now, right? Kid Rock will be there. Joe Rogan would either be announcing or he'd be in the thing. I think
There'd be some political people in the audience I'm not going to name.
Yeah, there would be some very high-end political people because UFC rallies are now basically their rallies.
Yep.
So we could get all those. Yeah, all those could be happening. Sure.
Yeah. So now we have an angry gorilla in the middle of a UFC cage who's won, and then he's going to get loose. See where I'm going with this?
I see where you're going with this.
This is a show I'd watch.
Oh, gotcha.
This is
So
a show.
at the end is it? So what you're saying is at the end of this, the gorilla just gets and it turns into a King Kong moment. It's King Kong ripping off the shackles and then being free in the middle of Manhattan.
He was shackled the whole time and still killed everybody?
In King Kong?
Oh, I meant
No, I'm using from the imagery of King Kong.
Okay. The
'Cause
shackles
that's the whole
is
thing
the
is
cage
King
itself.
Kong is the cage itself is that.
Yeah. No, I think actually it'd be way funnier if we if somebody, I don't know who, just walks up and unlocks the cage and lets him walk out. Yeah, I think that would be great. I don't know who that person's going to be.
Yeah.
You got to be pretty brave.
You gotta be braver than the guys running up on the gorilla.
To just be like, oh, like all the dead bodies scattered in the cage.
Yeah.
He walks up.
Well, eventually the gorilla is standing on top of a mound of bodies.
Yes.
And just punching as people are running towards it. And you get that imagery that you see in like war movies. Warhammer does this a lot, where there's like the lone space marine standing a pile of Tyranids as these crazy space bugs are coming at them. He has a chain sword and he's this massive guy and he's like, that is Warhammer, by the way, is who would win in a fight. It just
Warhammer would win in a fight.
No, Warhammer is who would win in a fight. Like, that is the concept, like wargaming in general.
Oh, okay. So who would win in a fight is like a game in all kinds of ways.
In many different ways.
Got it.
Like, who would win in a fight? I'm like unlocking stuff. So, like, wargaming was created as a way for them to be like, hey, would an army of dragoons be able to beat cannons?
Yeah.
Right? And then the guys would be like, oh, and they would have this conversation. Finally, one guy was like, well, what if I wrote dice rules for this? And we got rulers out. And we did these things. Like, Dungeons and Dragons is who would win in a fight. It's just eventually we created tieflings and the bisexuals took over. Yeah. Like, that is, like, at the end of the day, like, Dungeons and Dragons is who would win in a fight. Some wizard or a dragon. And where are they? They're in a dungeon. Well, why are they fighting? There's gold. Like, that is, all of this is who would win in a fight.
I think maybe female feminine culture, I don't know the way to put it, is like, maybe we do have this, but it's not, it's like who would win is more like
who would bake a better cake?
No, oh God, whoa, what? Misogyny.
No, I'm just asking. Like, I'm trying to think of like it's more of a contest instead of to the death.
I was thinking more of like Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan in the early aughts. Is like they hate each other. They're talking shit. We're all watching it online on the new internet, and we're like, oh, who's gonna be the next? Who's going to say the next mean thing? Who's going to do the next mean thing?
Yeah, but that's looking at punch for punch, not who is going to eventually be the victor. And I think that's the whole part. It's like who would be the end all? What's the end?
Yeah.
I think we're looking more to what's the end. And like 100 men versus one gorilla. The one thing I want to come back on with this is I've seen a lot of people who said the gorilla instantly because they think and they view of how vicious the first bunch of deaths are going to be.
Yeah.
But eventually, like 100 men is a lot.
I think that I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think the reason I say gorilla immediately is not because I think that the gorilla's eventually going to get tired. He is, right? Or they are. I think that 100 men are not going to be organized enough to figure it out.
That comes up a lot, and the scattering.
Yeah.
Because of like the fear and everything else. But again, I have to keep bringing it back to, we have to turn in many of these arguments, the men themselves become robots. They become NPCs from a video game in the conversations. And in this, you have to have a Mr. Beast style murderer character who is overseeing this, who is the game master, who, if you try to flee from the gorilla, you are also then killed, and then the gorilla gets the point. Like, that's the thing that I think people keep leaving out is like, I like you adding in the guys who are going on Instagram Live being like, yeah, that's right, tomorrow night I'm gonna fuck up that gorilla, and it's been brought to you by Gamer Subs. I used my use Gamer Sub fart dream, and that's how I've been training for this every single day. Use my promo code Andrew Tate, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. Like, these are that's a cool part. Yeah. And that will kill 20 men.
Yes.
Instantly. That's the first
20 men that maybe we don't like so much.
That's the first 20 though.
If I take out the Tate brothers with a gorilla before Romania does.
I do like the idea of using 100 men versus gorilla as if we're going to bring back the death penalty, which apparently we are.
Big time.
In a big way. It was announced yesterday. Terrifying, but this is hard for you guys to hear this, but on April 30th, that was the Attorney General brought up.
Yeah.
We're going to do a lot of that.
Great. Cool.
That part of it. Then let's make it entertaining. Let's go ahead. If I have to live in a horror show, right?
Yeah.
If I have to live in neo-fascist New Rome,
yeah,
then let's at least have some good time. Let's market it a little bit better, right?
This
Put a
is so
jersey
bad.
on the gorilla.
No. Okay.
100 men
I
versus
don't
one
like,
gorilla.
I don't like where my ideas go.
No. Don't turn your back on it now. Don't be like the creators of Mother's Day and turn your back on it now.
I'm gonna be like the creator of the Keurig and be like, I think I made a mistake.
I think I've ruined the world.
I think I've ruined the world.
No. What I'm saying is, this is brought to you by Gorilla Glue.
I wish. Love some Gorilla Glue.
I'm telling you right now, I think that if you go into this, I think go even more crass capitalist to the point where it's like rollerball.
Yeah.
Like it goes to this whole other level. The decapitation of the day brought to you by Diet Pepsi. You know? I think we learned a lot this week.
What did we learn?
Number one, that 100 men could beat a gorilla.
That's not true.
I think 100 men could beat a
God.
gorilla. But number two, we've learned about the shifting ways of kind of how people, are signaling to each other.
Yeah, by
about
the way
their
they
beliefs.
dress and the way they act.
Yeah, and like their interests and things like that, and how they're cutting across, and how it's changed generationally. And I think a big part of that is going to be looked at in a post 2020 landscape.
Yeah, you know what else I think we learned? I think we learned that ball health is super important, especially if the gorilla's going to rip it off.
Dick rip. That's where we need to learn. I think that's what we need to learn. But we just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors this week, and also, especially, all of our Patreons who joined us over at Pearlmania500.net. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another fun week. We have a deep dive episode next week.
Next week, we're classique.
It's a classic
Deep dive.
and it's going to be a good time, and you guys are going to really, really enjoy it. It's going to bring a little bit of merriment to your life.
Yeah, we're doing somebody nice.
Something very
good
nice.
Vibes.
Good vibes only. And I feel like this podcast actually had some good vibes this week.
Yeah.
I think it did.
Yeah, it's some weird vibes for sure.
It definitely
I never
had some
said
weird vibes.
loads so many times.
You said, what was it, big loads?
Thick loads? I don't know.
Fat loads.
Fat loads. Clips.
Well, if you guys made it all the way to the end of this episode, and when you get down in the comments and write, Pearlmania, thank you for your fat loads.
No, absolutely
You don't want
not.
that?
No.
Say Mrs. Pearlmania.
No.
No?
No.
No? Write in the comments, fat loads. See you next week.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.